Source code will be provided after each episode. The link to the GitHub will be provided in the description down below. If you want to check it out and follow along or download it to create your own visual novel game. Enjoy the video. Hey guys, welcome back. In this episode, we're going to go ahead and tackle classes. More importantly, the game class. Because as of right now, these functions are just sitting out in the open. And what we want to do is we want to encapsulate and put everything into a class. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to put this a little down here and then type in class game. And whenever you create a class or it could be any like person, game, actor, property, sword, whatever the name is, needs to have an init function. And that could be self. It always has to have self. You can add properties such as name, location, food, your mom, whatever the case may be. But as of right now, we're just going to say self. And within self, we are going to pretty much take these and just move everything into here. So let's go ahead and do that. So we're going to type in self time states. I'm just going to copy this and paste it down there. I don't need this anymore. I am going to go ahead and do the same thing for time index 0. Take away that. I do want a day counter that increases after the morning, day, evening, night, and then it counts. So I'm going to say day is equal to 1. You can have it set to 0, but I want to set it to 1. And I also want a location as well. The default location that the player will spawn in. And that's going to be the player room. Next is migrating this main function down here. So I'm just going to go ahead and just cut this and paste it right there. Okay. And it's pretty much just pasting and everything, but I'm just going to go ahead and just rename a couple things. I'm going to say get time self. And this is pretty much going to return this, except this is going to be called self.timeIndex. And this is going to be self.timeStates. Also, don't forget to indent, because if you don't indent, this will throw everything off. It will compile badly and not even run the game. So make sure indentation is key. So get time. This gets removed. We're going to do advanced time self. And then in advanced time, we're pretty much going to do self.timeIndex is equal to self.timeIndex plus 1%. Same thing like this. Len self time states. Okay. And then again, if excuse me, if once the player goes through morning, day, evening, and night, and then it goes back to morning, the day counter should go up by 1. So how can we achieve that? By saying if self.time index is equal to 0, we're gonna do self.day plus equals 1. Cool. So that gets removed from there. Next is the get background. We can just go ahead and copy this down. It's just copy and pasting, guys. That's all it is. It's pretty self-explanatory. I'm going to go ahead and get that removed. I'm going to go ahead and do self. Whoops. Self. Do self.location, I think. And this one should be get time self. Okay. And then update scene, same thing. Copy this, well, cut it actually. And then paste it in. Again, don't forget to indent. And then this can get removed. And we want to put replace path with self dot get background. Okay. And that should clear everything up. So, since this is in core, how to call it, and we do need to change up a few things right here, like this. This needs this is going to get changed. Since it's in the game class now, we need to say from core import game. Then from here we can just say replace everything that says core with game. This needs to be changed with that. Game. 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 Actually, I want to name this actually to scene. And then do this with scene. And since it is self, I'm going to go ahead and, also forget self. This is going to take no parameters because it is self, so it's going to be empty. Next, I'm going to hold for a minute because in theory it should work, but I'm going to see if you guys can think and ponder for a minute on, is it going to work or is it going to throw an error? And I can give you a hint, it's going to be right in here. Or it can be called in here, it doesn't matter. But let's go ahead and just test it out to see if it will work. And it does not, because import name game from core, it doesn't know what game is. Like, what is game? So we need to initialize it. So game is equal to game. And with that, now we can go ahead and run it. Start it. Okay, get background takes one positional argument, but two were given. You are right. I messed up a little bit right there. This needs to be empty. And because self, yep, it takes no parameters. Let's go ahead and do that as well. Main takes 0. Oh gosh, we are... Oh yeah, forgot to write self right there. And there we go. If we advance the time, it's changing as it should. But yeah, guys, that was pretty much the game class taken care of. And if I went a little bit fast, I apologize. I'm going to go over it just one more time. So pretty much we took the time states, the time index, which was current index. We moved it into the init function of game. We added a parameter of day, where we can track the number of days it has been in game. We've also added a location variable for the player. We moved the main function into game, as well as get time, advance time, get background, and update scene. And then we made a a constructor, I think, or variable that is calling the game class, which needs to be called from right here. Awesome. I am going to go ahead and do, if you haven't already, I know I gave you homework to do. I told you all to mess around with the code, see what happens. And let me go ahead and show you what this does. I'm going to go ahead and call the time index. And I'm also going to do day, game.day. Okay. And what that's going to do is I can track what the current variables are for, so right here, 0, 1. So if we go ahead and advance the time, it goes to 1, 2, 3. And when I click advance time, it's going to go back to 0. And this should advance to 2, as it should. Awesome. So the next thing that I do want to also point out is the location as well. Since this is here, this is the default location where the player will spawn at. You can change that to whatever you want now. You can easily do the money sign. Game.location is equal to now whatever you want it to be. You can say, for example, let's say home. Now keep in mind when I do this, I currently don't have any background images for home. So if I go ahead and do this, it will not have any images. See, background's home morning. And that's awesome because you can add on as many images as you want and the locations as well. So you don't have to worry about, like, again, like I mentioned, I think this was back in my old series that I had, home underscore morning, player home underscore. I had it like, I had a bad organization, but I'm glad I'm having it like this. And this is the power of Python. But anyways, guys, this is the game class. You are going to have homework right now, so because I want you all to learn and mess with the code and everything. So add your own functions and see how they work. Functions are, so far you should know how to make a function. It's just defining a test function and self, and then just add in the logic inside this function. And now keep in mind that when you do want to make a function inside this class, the game owns it. So you can't just type in, what was it trying to call it? Test function. You can't just say test function and for it to work, because it needs to have, it's a part of the game class. So you need to type in game.testFunction in order for that to work. And that's the same thing with any other class as well. If you create another class called person, and you have logic in here, I'm gonna go ahead and pass this. That way it doesn't throw this error. Yeah, so if you have a class of person, don't forget to initialize it, I should say. Initialization, because that's always important. And you don't have to have these here. These can go, I cannot speak. These can live in here because, and I'll show you that actually. Let me go ahead and get this removed. Oops. Let me remove that. Let me remove this test function. Let me take this. And in order for this to work, I need to say import game instead, capitalize. I need to call the class itself, and then put this right there. That way we can initialize it. And if we run it, still works the same. Home. Let me go ahead and get that removed. That way the player can be spawned in the player room. There we go. Same thing. It's preference, guys. If you want to have it right here in the RPY file, cool. If you want it to be right here, which I think I may for the time being, I'm gonna have it right here. Just don't forget to change this back to game because it is calling this. But yeah, guys, just mess around with the code, see what happens. Break stuff. I'm gonna see what happens if I do this. If I just call capital game, what will happen then? Yeah, game is not defined. Yeah, see, so that's what I do, guys. I just break stuff. I love breaking stuff. Anyways, guys, that's gonna be it for the episode. We went over the game class. We created a game class. We created the variable which calls the class itself, and we pretty much just put everything into a class, and that's pretty cool. If you found this video helpful, please give it a like, comment if you have questions, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye, guys.